Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat's brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. Such a great place. It's in the bottom of the Lamar building. Go in there every time you go in. Jeremy and the gang make you feel like you're at home. Such a great place. I love it. I goes to Joe's and so should you. At Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia in the bottom of the Lamar building. Today, my guest is more rock royalty, Mr. Norwood Fisher, one of the founders of Fishbone, also Tulio Disgracious, which was an amazing jam band, and just such a great guy. Now he's playing with Think EXP, and we're gonna sit down and just have a good talk with him today. So without further ado, here comes Mr. Norwood Fisher here on Smoked Meat. How you doing today, Norwood?
You know, it's a wonderful day in my neighborhood.
It is here too, man. Beautiful sunny day, not too hot. It's just, man, it's a nice day today. I'm digging it.
I like it like that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So how's things been out there for you during all this good old stuff?
You know, right now, um, in spite of the coronavirus reality and, you know, massive upheavals, you know, uh, which I don't mind some massive upheavals every now and again.
Oh yeah.
But, I'm like, I personally am doing quite well. I'm happy to say Fishbone's recording. Um, and I am producing an album, which is going quite well. And I'm pushing forward my band Tulio Disgracious, setting up for a release of a new single. And hopefully we'll have a video for it. That'll be near the end of August when that should drop. I think
Oh,
later in August.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it, man. I tell you, I've listened to Fishbone for a long time. I just love the groove that y'all got. Everybody says, okay, this is metal, this is this is this. Fishbone, no, there ain't no way to put y'all in no box nowhere.
Right,
And the only band I know I can hear ska and funk in the same song,
right.
and it works. But oh yeah, but
Yeah, it's all dance music, and if you absorb it, properly, you spit it out, and it'll all work together.
oh yeah, but yeah, I know. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was sitting at the house, and a friend of ours, Eileen, sent me a link and put, I've got Scott Page is doing a Zoom thing. Come to it. So I mean, she didn't say. I didn't know who he was playing with, but I'm like, Scott Page is doing an online concert. You watch when you're invited. And I opened it up and I saw Scott there, and then I looked over. I saw Kenny Olson. I saw Stephen Perkins, and I saw you. I'm like, holy crap! I'm getting to be a part of this. And that show was so awesome. I needed that show so bad that night because I had had about 3 shifts in a row that were just horrible. And
Woo!
that show was such a good release for me. I thank y'all so much for that.
It was amazing for us, and we're just grateful that we get to come together and do those things. Because it's performances had to shut down because of COVID-19, and that they the scenario was just right, and there was an opportunity to do something that really felt like a future that a few months ago was a long way off, and now because of the circumstances it's brought to our reality now. But it was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and that just I like the fact people are thinking outside the box now. Doing things like that, like the drive-in shows that y'all are gonna do. and it makes it an experience, and where between songs, you'll hey, anybody got any questions, and we would get to talk to the band, and that was so neat. I've never gotten to
Yeah,
do that before.
yeah, and Scott is like technologically advanced anyway,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like it's just who he is, and he's looking for what's on the cutting edge, and that just fit right into it,
yeah,
you know.
oh yeah. But man, I tell you, that bass was man. I tell you, it's funny. Years ago, I've always tried to play the guitar, and all I can really do is chicken pick. And I went to a pawn shop one day because I'm always on the lookout for something new, because I'll get a guitar and I'll get rid of it and get one and get rid of it. And I saw a bass hanging there. And I'm like, well, I can't really play the guitar good, but the bass ain't got but four strings, man. How hard can it be? Yeah, that's the
Right.
understatement of the year, brother. Oh, man. I was thinking, okay, I'll just tap these couple of strings, move my fingers up, and it don't work that way.
Yeah,
Yeah. I went back to the regular guitar because I ain't got the chops for that, man.
right.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, any instrument, you know, like people think it looks easy to play harmonica, but like to rock a crowd, you got to put in work.
yeah. Yeah, I know when
You
John
know,
Popper when Blues Traveler started, he would come out with his bandoleros full of different harmonicas. People don't realize those are different keys, different types, and
yeah,
yeah, you get deep in some harmonica. When I play it, I sound like a set of bagpipes is getting beat up.
exactly. And it's kind of like I was doing a recording and I was making a statement about overdubs, and I was like, yeah, well, we might want to put triangle on it. We might want to put congas. And the engineer pulled up somebody playing the triangle in a way to where I'd never imagined.
Hmm.
And so again, like the goal is to be transcendent and like ultimately in whatever you do, you know, like that's really what makes the world interesting is people who actually look for those, maybe not even understand that's what they're striving for, but when they just have a drive, an inner drive, and then they achieve something, an excellence beyond what your average person would do. And so like whether it's the triangle, the ukulele, you know,
Yeah.
a tambourine, right?
Yep.
Like the cats that played tambourine on the Motown records, they wasn't no joke,
Uh-uh.
you know?
Yeah. Hell, look at the difference cowbell made and freaking Blue Oyster Cult. Man, I can't believe I can't think of the name. Don't Fear the Reaper.
Right?
Like a damn cowbell, but that makes the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love when people think outside the box because if people don't, if they don't expand that box or get out of it, everything just turns cookie cutter, and I can't stand bands like that. When Rascal Flatts, when they first came out, I loved them. And they got their first big hit, and after that, everything sounded like that for a long time. And you got to keep growing. I can't stand that when somebody, okay, this is the formula, let's follow this exactly. No,
Yeah, that's what, and that's the thing that is always, you know, in all popular music, in the history of popular music, that's always been a thing. It may be the history of music. It may be that, in the days of the troubadours, that one guy came in, played guitar, played the hell out of it, got,
mm-hmm.
got fed well, got all them ladies and anything that came to the traveling troubadour, and some dude had to come up right behind him and sound just like him,
Mm-hmm.
and emulate it because it was successful. So, that's, I guess maybe as a part of it is human nature, and I might consider it like your winning formula,
Oh yeah.
right? And so, like, that's what people do in life. That's what children do. Like, they find out what gets them, you know, what they want, whether it's, flashing the right kind of smile, or kicking and crying. And if that gets them what they want, that's what they do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got lucky on the kicking and crying part. Both my girls knew they could smile at daddy and it was over.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and that's really all it is. And then somebody wearing out their winning formula gets bankrupt,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's where bands, music suffers.
Yeah, everybody gets used to doing that one thing, and like I say, also get complacent with it because, like I say, one, it works, and two, you play it enough, you're really comfortable playing that way, and you don't want to branch out and don't want to, try new things because you may be a virtuoso on these two songs you've done for 10 years, but you got something new with a little bit different rhythm, a little bit different beat, and like
Yeah,
I don't know how I'm gonna be on that. You got to take that leap, and that's
yeah. And so everything I've ever been involved with, like where my heart was at, has been things where you push, you take chances. That's why I like playing with Think Experience. Like fucking, you know, it's you know Steve Perkins, me, Steve Perkins, Kenny Olson, and Scott Page. You know, we all push each other and give and take and communicate in a way musically. Where we're always kind of pushing, where we're always in a state of exploration and trying to see what else is possible. Even through like the main thing that we've been doing is think presenting a Pink Floyd experience,
mhm.
right? Like, but even in that, like, we don't play those songs exactly like the originals. They're interpretations. We're embellishing and taking liberties, but we do want to bring the essence of what those songs mean.
Yeah,
And we're starting to we Ken, Kenny Perkins and I have already we've already written quite a few things together over the last few years, and now we're starting again with Think in Mind, Think Experience in mind,
mhm.
to kind of create a sound there based on our all of our experiences, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's such a diverse group in that. I mean, but everybody in there is a world class musician, and y'all bring in other people too, and let them play too, and that's just man. I could imagine, if I was good enough to be called a world class musician, all of a sudden I'm on stage with everybody else that is too, and it's like, oh damn, I can't punk out now. I got to bring my A game, and at the
Right.
same time they're thinking it, and everybody just skips some levels, man. And I tell
Yeah,
you,
and that's a beautiful part of, like, dude, when me and Steve Perkins are rocking together, like the the various things that we've listened to and everything, all of your life experience is able to show,
yeah,
right? Like, that's really where we're drawing from the entirety of our lives and responding to it, and that creates like a magic of sorts.
yeah,
And it's a communication. and I appreciate it fully.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it works. Like I say, that show that night, I was just floored because I wasn't expecting that. And, I was expecting, okay, Scott's going to be, he's putting on the show. It's going to be he's going to be the star of the show, and he's got, all those other players. And like I say, I opened that thing up, and I'm like, holy shit, there is no one star of this show. It's a team, and it's a really good team.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
man.
And it's funny, once y'all kicked into Wish You Were Here, I love that opening guitar on that song, man. I just love it. And then it just kicked off, and it just worked.
Yeah.
And like I say, y'all don't play it exactly like they did. You put your own flavor in there, and that makes it where you're not just a music book band. You're not getting the sheet music and going, okay, I got this note here. Okay. Damn it, I missed that one. We got to go back. Jimi Hendrix never played the same thing exactly the same way twice.
Yeah. And
And,
neither did Billie Holiday.
yep.
Right. And
Yep.
those are like really. I'll follow those two down any road.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. We went to a comedy show in Augusta one night. We went to see Jeff Dunham, and of course Brian Hayner, guitar guy, came. And I found out he's actually a really good stand-up. But
All right.
he opened for him and did his stand-up, and then he said, all right, I want to play the national anthem for y'all. So he got his guitar out, and he did it Jimmy style. And it was so great, and it was so funny because he put this thing up behind his damn head, turned around and was playing it, and my wife looked up and said, I'm not really impressed. I'm like, huh? She said, he's looking at the screen. I'm like, he's playing it behind his fucking head. And she finally caught it, and she's like, that is pretty good, ain't it? I said, yes, it's amazing. And like I said, the style he done it, you could tell it was an ode to Jimmy, and it was just, man, it was great.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. But yeah, and the Tulio Disgracious single that's coming up is a song called "Who in the Fuck Are You."
Nice.
So it'd be on Rope-a-Dope Records. Um, it's a long jam, and hopefully there'll be a video. I'm kind of formulating the idea that there'll be a video no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and actually, just say Fishbone has been recording with Fat Mike from No Effects at the helm of doing production.
Mm-hmm.
So that's turning out amazing, and it should wrap up in the next few days. And I'm hoping for a quick turnaround for the release
Oh man,
of the first single.
when it comes out, you got this number. You need to text me and say, "Hey, Fat Boy, it's out. Here's the way to get it."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I say, I am a fan. Have been for a while. I'm
Yeah.
weird.
Well,
I'm weird musically. I go through spurts. I listen to somebody, just boom, that's my guys, and then I'll hit somebody else for a while. 2 weeks ago, I was for some reason in an Alanis Morissette mood, and I listened to Jagged Little Pill like 30 times.
right.
And it's weird, but my playlist is so, I got everything from Wayne Newton to Metallica on there. You name it, it's on there. And
I love that.
oh yeah, I look at it. Music as a universal language. It don't matter what color you are, what rate, what sexual orientation, where you're from, anything. Music speaks to everybody. And I kind of hate that there's labels on a lot of music because, like I say, it's universal. It don't matter if it's rock, country, ska, whatever. It works. When you like it, you like it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way, like a lot of musicians actually listen to music that way, but they don't express it in their presentation. And like Fishbone is a band that's what we played music how we listened to it.
Yeah.
Like that's why we sound the way we sound because we had no discrimination as listeners, and that just what came out in our playing, and we allowed it through people telling us you need to just play like one or two styles, three at the most, you know.
Yeah. That don't work for
So
y'all.
yeah, I'm like, but like I remember the first time somebody told me that like guys, a bunch of country musicians, Nashville-based musicians, were like amazing reggae. They were amazing reggae musicians, but they just can't go out and do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and eventually I witnessed it. And the fact is that it's guys in Nashville that can play like deep, gnarly funk. Well, that makes sense to me too,
Mm-hmm.
that they would be able to, but it's just not what they go and do or play soul music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but until somebody pointed me towards it, I I I, I couldn't conceptualize it. You know, I maybe had prejudged those musicians as being narrow minded,
Mm-hmm.
and what my what I ran into once I had was face to face with it was like these dudes was just like me, except the lane that they chose as a profession is narrow, you know,
Yeah.
and most heavy metal guys, have a narrow output, and a lot of dudes listen to a lot of different stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So hopefully the world will open up into more diversity because that actually encourages you know change, transformational styles to emerge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we keep just simply emulating, like if music stays pure to a cause, a single cause, the variations become limited.
Yeah. You know what?
So things have to go through changes so that we can find new forms.
Yeah. You know, one thing I've noticed, and I've been doing stand up for about 30 years, and I've never hit it hard enough to where I was going to get really big, but I always have fun with it. And
Yeah,
I get new comics today that'll come to me for advice and ask me for help, and I'm always happy to help them. And the same way with the podcast. I've only been doing this since July, but I've learned
right.
quick, and I've developed my style of way I like to do. And I have people that come to me for help with this. And it's the same with music. I believe some unknown whoever out there writes the rules that everybody thinks they have to follow. And I finally figured out after a long time, it's my art. You can't give me rules. When I'm on
Yeah,
stage, that's mine. I'm the one doing that. With this show, I had people say, okay, if you're going to interview movie people, you need to do them. If you're going to interview authors, you need to do them. If you're going to do musicians, do them, and then stick to this kind of musician. And I'm like, since I've figured out, okay, this is mine. Nobody can tell me what to do on this. If I want to sit here and pray for 10 minutes, guess what? I can pray for 10 minutes. If I
right.
want to throw out the word fuck 50 times in a row, guess what? It's going to sound like a beat because I can do it. It's mine. And I think when people realize that, nobody knows where those rules came from, but they're bullshit. This is your art, and I'm glad that y'all make sure that that lives because, man, y'all ain't got no rules. Y'all's only rule: good music and good fun.
Yep, exactly. And it's so we live in a world where you know you are trained to comply in advance.
Yeah,
right? Like, if you find something that's too fun, your first thought is probably something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Oh
I got
yeah.
to be doing something wrong.
This much fun can't be legal.
Yeah, it can't be legal. Yep. And so you know to and we as a culture at once embrace the people that will break all the rules and damn them.
Uh-huh.
You know, so it's something that we need. It's like like the American aesthetic at the end of the day is outlaw.
Yeah.
You know, and the unfortunate thing is that like okay, so that's why in the late in the not the late but in the '60s the imagery of like the biker gang
Mm-hmm.
was so powerful, you know, and then 20 years and then in the '70s it was the imagery of the mafioso,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the '80s into the '90s it was gangster, street gang
Mm-hmm.
with rap. Like
Yep.
there's a reason why these images became so popular, and it is the American is America loves an outlaw.
Yeah, everybody wants to see someone do something that they, either scared to do or can't do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said, that outlaw, that's it, man. They're representing everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So and in that is the spirit of innovation, right?
Yeah.
That's what drives innovation, you know.
Yep.
So it's a fearlessness. It's and fortunately, some of that energy. Fortunately, a guy named Evil Knievel came along and kind of corralled that energy and put it into something that would become, you know, extreme sports,
Yeah, he
right?
was electrifying. I remember watching him on Wide World of Sports.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember
yeah.
that.
But look, all of our culture is based on, but well, not all of, but a good portion of our culture is based on one, Bruce Lee.
Hmm.
Because no Bruce Lee, no mixed martial arts and UFC, right?
Yeah.
And then Evil Knievel is the precursor to all the extreme sports. The Daredevil, it, you know, and you got to give it up for Dogtown,
Hmm.
you know,
Oh yeah.
to to
They
to
did stuff on boards that nobody had ever thought of seeing.
exactly. But it took, but evil, believe me, Evil Knievel was part of that inspiration for them too, right?
Yeah.
So, but they just brought it from another angle, and then it was Iggy Pop,
Yep.
right? Like, so there's so that all of those things kind of give us the energy. I mean, there's more to it than that, right?
Oh yeah.
But but that is like the really the outlaw energy, and then beyond that, had to be like funkadelic, right?
Oh man,
So
George Clinton, baby.
you know,
Oh yeah.
but yeah. So those are the things that kind of like expanded our vision as a culture, and Richard Pryor. I can't leave out
Oh
Richard Pryor,
man.
right?
Oh yeah, King Richard.
Yeah, So those are those are the things that like of our mother culture that I draw from personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. I'll tell you somebody I used to love a lot, and it's because, I mean, he wrote the theme song for Chef, for God's sake. It's Isaac Hayes. Everybody
Oh yeah.
listens to the song, and it's a great song, but if you sit down and listen to the bones of that song, that when he grazing in the grass and about anything he did, them wasn't songs, them was straight up orchestrations. That
Yep.
man was a genius
Yes, he was.
and inspired so many different people and influenced so many different people, And man, I love getting a good set of headphones on and listening to either of those two songs and just listening to the different parts because, one thing that happens with me, I had a couple of strokes a few years ago and I've still got tics from those. Well, I have days where, how like if you hear background music or background noise, all you hear is it registers as background noise, all one piece. Well,
Right.
I have days where that background noise, each individual thing registers, and those days are hell on earth. It's overwhelming,
Right.
but I can listen to something like that, and that's when it gets useful because I can pick out each little thing in that song, and it helps center me.
Right.
And that's a gift that he had, and he, like I say, music heals, and that helps get me through that.
Right. And tell you what, I had two profound experiences with Isaac Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
And one because we Fishbone did we did a song for the movie I'm Gonna Get You Sucker,
I love that
right?
movie.
And Chain and Ivory Wayans brought us into that movie. And actually we collaborated with Curtis Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
But the day that we did the filming like was the first time in my life I ever shaved my head bald.
Oh man, it gets a little tender, don't
Yeah, it
it?
was very, very much, a different experience. But the day that I shaved my head bald the first time in my life, I'm on a movie set and there's Isaac Hayes, the one of the most iconic bald men ever. The only other one is, well, there's Telly Savalas and what's his name, the King and I.
Oh, shit, I know the name. Yul
Yeah, we
Brenner.
both
Yul Brenner.
Yul Brenner, right?
Yeah.
One of the three most iconic bald men of that in that time. Right, so I went right into Isaac Hayes with a fresh bald head, right? And and then the second time, you know Blowfly, right? You know of Blowfly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Blowfly was my personal friend, and I was a super fan since I was in the ninth grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had a song called "Funky Party," and you can find the video on YouTube. And uh, so we were shooting the day we were shooting the video. We oh well, actually Fishbone. We sang backgrounds on "Funky Party," and we were in that video. And we did another song. We did "Shake Your Ass,"
Mm-hmm.
where we actually sang with him on "Shake Your Ass." But on "Funky Party," that video, like we on the set, and I'd known Blowfly for a while, and he would always talk about, yeah, Dick Clark called me, said this, that, and the other. He might say Isaac Hayes called me. You know, he's naming all these people,
Mm-hmm.
and I had never seen him with any of them. So I was like, I don't know, violinist Sugar Cane Harris and Don Cherry played in a band called Tupelo Chain Sex. and it was Tupelo Chain Sex was managed by a guy named Jason Mayall, who was John Mayall's oldest son. So anyway, because I know I'm going all over the place with
Oh,
this,
you all
but
right? That's what we're
Don
here for.
Don Cherry and Sugarcane Harris, they would be backstage because Fishbone and Tupelo Chain Sex did a bunch of shows together. We'd be backstage and they start telling me crazy stories and they just taking me on a ride to drop me off and laugh at me. Because I was young and vulnerable and impressionable, and I was probably, 18, 19 when they were doing this.
Hmm.
So then, so now Blowfly becomes my friend and he's telling me stories and telling me about it. And I'm thinking, oh, he's just doing me like Sugar Cane and Don Cherry. So we on the set and then in comes Isaac Hayes. I'm like, damn, he really knew Isaac Hayes. Antonio Fargas showed up.
Oh,
Like
fly
all
guy.
these, yeah.
Hug you back.
Antonio Fargas showed up and so did Jim Kelly, right?
Oh,
So,
man.
but I'm like, Isaac Hayes came in and I'm like, oh shit, like he used to talk about, Isaac Hayes calling him and Isaac Hayes showed up. They
Just,
didn't say but a couple words and they went right to the piano and they started playing and singing. And they
oh.
were they were they were singing dirty lyrics to all these classic soul songs. And I'm listening and it's blowing my mind. One, I'm going like, I ain't never heard Isaac Hayes like this.
Hmm.
And then at one point I was just freaked out so much I stopped. I'm like, what the fuck, y'all stop? What in the hell is going on? And Isaac Hayes looked at me and he said, well, this is how we used to do it. Because they were a songwriting team at Stax Records,
Uh,
Clarence Reed and Isaac Hayes.
oh, man.
Blowfly was like, yeah, we would either write the songs dirty and clean them up for the artist,
Uh,
or we would write them clean and we would make up dirty versions just to make fun of them. Because none of the singers had the balls to do the dirty version.
oh, yeah.
You know, so those are my two profound, long-winded stories about encountering Isaac Hayes.
Hey, long-winded is my wheelhouse, man. I can dig them. Hey, a good story ain't got no time limit.
Right?
Oh, man.
So and then wait, because you said so your life has been stand up, right? That's
Yeah,
been a big part of your life,
yeah.
right? So I've always looked at stand up as the most difficult of all of the art.
It's, it is rough, but it's fun. And
Right.
that's what I think of when I do it. Because when you get
Well,
up there, you bomb hard.
exactly, because you know, because it is immediate. The response, non-response, whatever it is immediately tells you what happened. There's no time buffer.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. And I was telling somebody a story. Any comic that says they haven't bombed is a lying ass. Because
Right.
everybody has from damn Jerry Lewis when he was big and younger guy, and to Chris Rock, to you name it. Everybody's bombed. That's part of it. And
Yeah.
we got a club here in Atlanta called the Laughing Skull, and it's a weird place because it's a great club, but I either do really really good there or I just eat shit so hard there. There's no in between. And we had a show one night. I was up there doing open mic, and I drew like dead in the middle of the pack of like a dozen comics. And I hate being in the middle. I hate it. But the first ones got up there, and all you got was crickets. And I'm like, oh, hell, this ain't good. And we got to paying attention, and nobody was getting laughs. But there was this guy in the middle of the front row sitting there with a pair of cargo shorts on and a Hawaiian shirt, just had his arms crossed, pissed off at the world. And everybody started taking shots at him. Well, I disrespected my craft because that night I actually wrote my material on the way to the show.
Right.
And no rehearsal, no nothing. Here's what I'm going to do. And instead of falling back on, okay, we got to bring the real funny here. This ain't nowhere to try something out. When I got up there, I looked at the guy. First thing I did was bent down to him a little bit and on my mic said, I can see your balls. And it just went to hell from there. It was bad. We found out after the show was over, the last guy that got up, he got a lot of laughs. But he was a CEO of a large company doing open mic for the first time. And the entire audience was his upper management who had done been voluntold to be there. So it was a damn corporate event, and we didn't know about it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was rough. But, yeah, I mean, you get that instant feedback, and it's either really good or really bad. But what really feels good is if you start losing a crowd and you're able to get them back.
Right.
That is awesome to be able to do. And to hear people tell you jokes back to you, or, your friends and anybody, you hear one of your jokes out and about, damn, it's so awesome.
Right.
And, when we help each other write some, like if you were a comic, you came to me and said, listen to this bit and tell me what you think. And we'll do what they call punch up, where, okay, here's what you can do to make this a little bit funnier. And you hear a comic do one of your punch ups on stage and they laughing hard. Man, that's one of the best feelings in the world.
I'm sure. All of the arts are essential,
Mm-hmm.
and the history of humanity has the roots of everything that we're doing now started, in a prehistory that is unwritten,
Yeah.
So, we whatever path that we take, we're just, it's kind of like DNA moving forward and refining itself, and that is the same with all the art. So, the cool thing about what you just said is like comedians like sharing their material with each other to kind of fine tune it, to push each other to a higher height. It's things of that nature that really make being an artist really a beautiful thing. Because you can share it with your peers, and that's like with bands, you might share what you're working on with a friend, and they give you an honest critique.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
or a suggestion for a lyric or whatever. Those are important moments.
And that's how you know somebody's a true friend or not. Because you got a lot of people, you can say, listen to this and tell me what you think. And they're going to kiss your ass no matter how bad it is. And a true friend, they'll look you in the eye and say, you need to fix that. Because they ain't going to bullshit you. They're going to tell you what's happening. And
Yeah.
I would rather have that any day of the week. When I can make that guy laugh, I've done something right.
Yeah.
And, I've got, several comics who are young guys that, wanted to get into the business and asked me, said, can you help us learn about comedy? I'm always happy to share. And, I've written some things. I've got one guy named Jesse Suggs. He's a great guy. He's also a medic and a firefighter, and he is about 4'11" or 5. He's right at 5 foot. And I I wrote a joke one day. I said, "Man, this don't even come close to working for me. But here's one for you." Told him, I said, "Tell him you love being a firefighter, but when you get out of the truck with all your turnout gear on, nobody takes you serious because they look at you like you're a Make-A-Wish kid." And when he does that one, dude, that one kills.
Right.
Yeah, and it's neat to be able to help people like that. Where I write something that
Yeah.
would be hilarious for somebody else, it wouldn't work for me, and it feels good to be able to give that.
Right.
And
I understand.
it's like when y'all are all jamming and getting together, demand the vibes that y'all feed off of, and y'all, like I say, y'all make each other better, and we thank y'all a bunch for doing it because it makes us better too. Music gonna bring all of us together, my friend.
Yeah. Again, it is. Music is just another representation of the universe that is always vibrating, and we're just playing with vibrations. You know,
Yep.
and I don't exactly understand all of what it is, but you know, all of all of being is vibrating, and that's what makes it all resonate. And when we talk, when we communicate, and we all vibrate, we can, we are participating in the symphony.
Mhm.
So
Most definitely. Well, no,
anyway, on that note, I'm gonna have to go because I got more bass lessons ahead of me today.
sweet. Hell yeah. Well, man, you
Um,
welcome on here anytime.
well, thank you.
You,
And if anybody's looking for bass lessons, just send me an email at norwoodlessons at gmail.com, and you know look me up on the social medias.
oh
Woody
yeah.
Wood Straw on Instagram, or Norwood Fisher on Facebook. Just shoot something at me and I'll get back at you.
Good deal, man. Well, I'm gonna put all this in the show notes too, where people just got to click on it and they'll send you an email. And man,
All right.
you throwing it out there to future generations of bass people, man.
Yeah, man. I like,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
y'all want to learn from one of the best in the business? Y'all need to get clicking right now.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Well,
well,
I
brother,
appreciate it.
I appreciate it a bunch, man.